So I was in California, and I was calling in because I had, discovered this thing. Erwin Knowles said that, yeah, if you figure out the H-bomb secret, we'll publish it. I was calling to find out how they were doing on the latest rewrite, and could we rush this thing into print before anybody found out about it. And he said, well, we've got some new developments. We sent a copy of the manuscript to George Rathjens at MIT, the guy who had challenged his graduate students to figure out the H-bomb. And he sent it to the Department of Energy, and they've classified it. As soon as I expressed dismay about this, they said, well, don't worry, we'll get you a lawyer, we'll pay all the legal fees, this will be a good test case, we'll test the provision of the Atomic Energy Act that prohibits discussion of all this stuff, and it'll be great. It'll go to the Supreme Court. It'll be on the front page of every newspaper in the world. It'll be good. And I sort of reluctantly said, well, okay, go for it. I mean, there's nothing we could do now. And so I got a plane ticket and landed in Madison, Wisconsin, and got ready for this big court case. In the government's first affidavit, they said this information is classified, which I agreed with, and it's never been publicly disclosed. Well, I knew that that wasn't true because I had all the public information that had ever been published on the stuff, and I could pick out the true things in it. So I wrote 2 big, long affidavits that documented every fact that was in the article, showed that it had been published before somewhere else. And the question then was, well, how did I sift this out of all the misinformation and put the right stuff together? Ray Kidder then entered the case as our expert witness, and nobody expected that, that an actual bomb designer from Livermore would take our side and refute everything the government said. And that just sort of, initially when we went to court, the New York Times was against us, the Washington Post was against us, the arms control people were against us, the peace movement couldn't understand why we would do such a thing. But once he came to our side, then people started coming over, and by the end of 6 months, most of the people who had opposed us publicly were in favor of us. And when we had our big hearing in Chicago, it was clear to me that the 3 appeals judges were making fun of the government's case. The government would then have to appeal to the Supreme Court. And instead of doing that, they just threw in the towel.